Hi, Alex here with Reality Checks on MGTOW. This is Post 2, Part 3, More Things to Check. The Reality Checks on MGTOW channel attempts to answer the question, is what MGTOW says about the nature of women and the nature of relationships between men and women a credible account? So, where are we now? In the last part, Post 2, Part 2, I went through a case study. Well, this just happened to be my current relationship. And I checked off whether my partner conformed to the MGTOW idea of what a woman is all about. Well, I have to say, I was genuinely surprised by the result. The MGTOW view of the world seemed to fit perfectly. She was everything MGTOW might expect, and I turn out to be a blue pill man. How could that be possible? Well, I do have some explanations. These are also checks on the MGTOW belief system because they're answering the question, can we be sure about the match with MGTOW? And even if the match is good, does it matter? This is important for MGTOW man to know. Are you justified in your beliefs about women, or did you just have a bad experience? Are you right to avoid relationships, or are you denying yourself something of great significance? So, given how well the MGTOW belief system seems to explain the case study relationship, is there any justification for the relationship, and how is it that it's gone on for so long? There are a few points that make me feel that the MGTOW analysis is not the whole story. First, there may be sampling error or bias. It's quite possible, well, we can even say lightly, that I'm being selective in picking instances of behaviour by my partner I remember best, perhaps because they had emotional impact. Also, I may be being selective because we're not getting on right now, and that reminds me of less positive experiences. Maybe I'm just trying to justify my more negative feelings for her. In looking through the MGTOW lens, we're being deliberately selective in what we choose to see. While the MGTOW account identifies aspects that are generally thought of as negative, it may miss the positive features of the relationship. The MGTOW analysis is what I would call ungrounded. As each of the MGTOW propositions is ticked off and my verdict on my partner of 5 years on every count is guilty as charged, I can easily say something like sometimes, or yes but, or only when. Yes, I can find instances of particular behaviours, often many, that's no trouble. But do they apply more often than not, or more often than they might occur in men, or more often than the norm? The judgments then have to be made against some reference point, and they carry less weight unless the reference point is defined. Secondly, it's possible that the relationship is quite normal and functional. After all, it does conform to what a MGTOW man might expect. It may be more important to assess whether the relationship is functional as opposed to how close the MGTOW analysis applies. After all, it's normal to go to work, and that's also something that's not always pleasant, but it is functional, and like it or not, it does confer some benefit. Only if the relationship is actually dysfunctional, i.e. the costs outweigh the benefits, should I go my own way. Some further analysis may help throw light on whether or not the MGTOW analysis is biased, and even if it's not, and applies perfectly, does that necessarily mean that the relationship has to be dysfunctional? The MGTOW construction is only one construction amongst many. People have analysed relationships from all sorts of perspectives, and each can throw a different light on what's going on. In the next part, I consider several alternative analyses, including A. One based on the ancient Greek definitions of love, B. One based on the inconsistencies in my partner's behaviour, which throw some doubt on simply accepting the MGTOW analysis, C. A philosophical view based on the nature of belief, also covered in more detail in the introductory posting, D. A psychological account that looks for explanations in past experience, particularly the past experience of my partner, and E, an account based on economic analysis. What's more, this is hardly an exhaustive list of perspectives. I might also have chosen religion, legal, or even feminist. So, we have 3 main challenges. 1, that the analysis may be biased and may miss out the positive aspects of the relationship. 2, that the fit with MGTOW does not necessarily mean that the relationship is dysfunctional. And 3, you can analyse things any way you like. MGTOW is just one type of analysis. So let's look at the result of applying some of the others. The MGTOW analysis must also therefore rise to these challenges before I can say I must go my own way. I address all these challenges by considering the relationships from the perspectives A to E just mentioned. I was going to go into the detail in this post, but I don't think I'm going to be able to put it into the 10-minute limit that I put on these postings. So, if you've come to hear the reasons why I think my relationship has lasted 5 years despite the near-perfect match between my partner and a MGTOW view of women, or perhaps why you go on or went on with your own relationship despite a similar analysis, then watch the next part.